At this moment, the Kappa suddenly spoke, and Dad hurriedly yelled for Xiaokang to put the Kappa back into the fish tank, like a cat seeing a cucumber. Then he told him to pour water on the plate on his head, because rumor has it that if it dries out, he'll be weaker than a wet noodle. Then they gave him sashimi to restore Little Ku's energy. Mom accepted the new member, and Dad decided to keep the secret, like hiding food. From then on, Little Ku lived at home. Xiaokang went to school, Dad to work, so Mom took care of him. At night, the family asked curiously about his origin. When Xiaokang mentioned samurais, Little Ku turned into an anxious little guy and recounted the heartbreaking tale of how his father was killed by a samurai. Then he mentioned how he was buried alive by an earthquake. Dad suddenly became a comfort master, telling Little Ku, "Don't worry, the era of samurai." Little Ku gradually adapted to human life and even became good friends with the big yellow dog. After a few days, he excitedly announced he wanted to return to Dragon Mart. Xiaokang's family strongly urged him to stay, and Little Ku chose to remain, pouring spring water on his plate as if at a grand party. One day, Mom returned from shopping, surprised to see Little Ku watching TV. She warned him not to sit too close, lest his eyes become as sharp as an eagle's. Seeing all the groceries in the house, Little Ku joked he was busier than a panda, and the whole family burst into laughter. In the afternoon, Xiaotan returned from school with 2 snails, saw Little Ku in the main seat, and exclaimed disdainfully, "Out of the way, little water monster." Clearly, Little Ku splashing him with water left a shadow in his heart. Xiaotan put snails on the table. Unexpectedly, Little Ku grabbed and ate one, prompting Xiaotan to run to Mom, who calmly said snails are edible. At dinner, Xiaotan saw mushrooms in his bowl, thinking, "Is this a snail?" Dad asked Little Ku if he'd eat other insects like roly-poly, sugar beetles, and dragonflies, which are tasty. "And bug eyes are also pretty good." Time flew by to the next day. Xiaokang hid Little Ku in his backpack to seek Dragon Marsh. Little Ku, on his first trip, was curious like a child in a playground. Xiaokang showed him modern transport, and instantly they were in Little Ku's room, like teleporting. Little Ku saw Dragon Marsh, once a marsh, now skyscrapers, sighed at times ruthlessness. At home, he looked downcast, like peeled fruit. Even at meals, he showed no interest. Xiaotan saw Little Ku in his chair, got upset, and pushed him down. Little Ku thought it was a sumo wrestling match when Xiaotan pushed him, but he flung Xiaotan onto the sofa, leaving the whole family shocked by his strength. The family took turns challenging him to sumo wrestling, and they all lost. Afterward, Dad grabbed a beer to celebrate. Little Ku curiously asked, "Is this good to drink?" Dad poured some into his plate, and Little Ku immediately blushed, feeling great inside, and started dancing the When it rains, Grandpa dances, drip, drip, drip. Clap, 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 drip, drip, drop. In the end, he passed out from drinking too much and woke up in the deep of night, seeing Xiaokang sleeping soundly beside him. He tiptoed out of bed trying to sneak out by pushing the big door, but had no idea how to open it. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "If you want to open the door, just follow my instructions." It was the big yellow dog at the door talking to him telepathically. Little Ku asked how he had this ability. Big yellow dog said, "Learn from living long. Remember to come back, must." Then, Little Ku walked alone on the rainy street, hiding from cars to be the cool kid. Suddenly, a couple approached. The guy joked, "Don't fear, it's last night's horror film." At that moment, Little Ku spotted them, awkwardly turning to run away. The guy, too, was frightened and took off running. The next day, a neighbor asked, "Do you have a Kappa at home?" Subtitles, Xiaotan secretly told his friend about the Kappa home. At night, Xiaokang realized hiding it wasn't viable. He must plan for Little Ku's future. At school, classmates asked if he had a Kappa at home. He denied it, getting the village booksource label. On the way home, Xiaokang bumped into the girl he liked, Chaiju, who asked, "Is that the Kappa you found by the river?" Xiaokang secretly enjoyed the moment, but pretended to act cool and said, "None of your business," before sprinting away. After getting home, Xiaokang unexpectedly saw a book titled Encountering Kappa Adventures in a magazine, leaving him curious whether it was for real. To investigate, Xiaokang decided to set off on an adventure. With his parents' consent, he embarked alone, hopping on a train to search for Kappas. After some time on the train, he finally arrived at the spot from the magazine. As soon as Xiaokang got off, he saw many Kappa statues and felt like he'd hit the jackpot. He happily shook hands with the statues and rented a bike to get to the Kappa park, but still found no other. During lunch, Xiaokang pulled out his map and asked the restaurant owner, "Are there any Kappas here?" The owner shook his head, saying he didn't know. Thanking him, Xiaokang continued his solitary. While walking, he found a little creek and let Little Ku out. Little Ku immediately splashed around joyfully like a mini swimming champion. Little Ku displayed his proud swimming skills carrying Xiaokang in water, but at sunset saw no other Kappas and went back to plan. On the way back, they played and laughed under the sunset. Perhaps Little Ku was thinking about staying by Xiaokang's side forever. At night, the two found an inn to stay at, where the old man asked Xiaokang if he knew about Xiaofuton's eye. Xiaokang said he had heard of it. The old man told him there was Xiaofuton's eye around, and that he shouldn't be afraid, since they could bring wealth to the household. Before he knew it, it was dinner time, and Xiaokang exclaimed, "Kids from Tokyo really know how to hustle. It's nothing really. This isn't anything special." The way they ate was like a competition, and when night fell, it was time to sleep.